welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. In the last episode, launched a test flight of this lander that we've been redesigning, and the results were quite unexpected. The initial launch went fine, and then during the ascent into orbit, there was an error in staging that left this thing climbing out on the full thrust of the launch vehicle, and it ended up out here in an orbit. It takes it way out here past the orbit of Joule and even past the orbit of Elu. It did reveal that there was a staging problem in the launch vehicle, and that will be taken care of. But it still leaves immense potential because this thing is going a long way out here. And so I propose that we can take advantage of that. Going to set Moho as target. Who didn't see that coming? I'm going to add a maneuver here. Hit keep open on this thing. And see, this is the ascending node. So I'm figuring this is going to need to be minus or anti-normal burn. Yeah. Just add some velocity, negative velocity here. Alright, let's step this down to 10 and flip the sign and bring it back a little bit. It's 0.2. 0.1. Okay, let's step it down to 1. We're getting close here. Actually, that's going to be pretty doggone close. I'm going to go for it like that. Got here, we have an 1177 meters per second burn, and this ship, as you'll recall, has all of its fuel, which means it has a grand total of 5,042 meters per second in delta V. This burn is 1/5 of that, roughly speaking. And so I propose to go ahead and make this burn. And this ship will get in plane with Moho, and then out here at apoapsis, we'll do another maneuver to bring the periapsis in to meet Moho. And maybe yet I'll be able to get a ship to Moho. How about that? Alright, so turn SAS off and we'll get rotated around. Alright, we're in position. SAS is on, and I'm going to go ahead and schedule this maneuver. And it will take place in 16 days. Let's see. You know, come to think of it, there isn't anything else going on right now. There's no other schedules up, so let's go ahead and warp time ahead 16 days. And do the plane change burn to get in plane with Moho. And for some reason I've got my focus on Drez. Let's tab through and see if I can fix that. Oh, come on. I must have tabbed right past. Oh, here we are. Alright. We're in position. It is time for that burn. Roughly 2-minute burn. Using the outboard LV909s. We'll get this thing plane aligned for MOHO, and then we'll head back to the Space Center and do some design changes on the ship that got us here, so that we don't have that sort of accident again. As the burn goes on, I want to say that yes, it's been entirely too long since the last episode. I've been going way too long between episodes, but I had something of a big project I was doing on Hermitcraft FTV, and I really wanted to get it done before the coming reset. And so I basically kind of ignored everything else in favor of a big push towards getting that done. This thing doesn't want to hold the doggone node. Alright, let's see how close we came. Minus 0.1. Ascending node 0.1. Okay. It's not perfect, but we are pretty much in plane with MOHO's orbit. Right now, I'm going to set a maneuver out here at apoapsis. And all I'm going to do is give it 1 meter per second so that there is a maneuver. And I'm going to add an alarm for that. And I think I want... let's make it 30 minutes of warning. That gives me time to set up a maneuver and get in position for it. Alright. Meanwhile, I'll make a cut and be back in the assembly building. Okay, here we are. Let's put this out of the way somewhere. Put this out of the way. If I recall correctly, staging area error was up here someplace. Alright, that disconnects and these outboard descent engines fire. And then those separate. Well, wait a minute now. Okay. Honestly, I'm not seeing the error. Okay. Okay, hang on a minute here now. These guys were supposed to be jettisoned when empty. And that would be while this is burning. Oh, with that. All right. So that means that they should belong down here. And honestly though, I should redo this. I should completely redo it, because these things would be more efficient if they were staged asparagus style, so that they would be jettisoned in pairs as they became empty. So let's do that. Okay. Looks like these are good. Alright. So now we'll just copy them. Like so. Each pair gets assigned to its own stage as it gets hooked in. No. And again, things are not quite lining up right. They're not even. There, that's better. Keep track of these as I go. And okay, that's good. That's good. One more copying. One more separate and distinct stage. All right. Now, it's just a matter of redoing the fuel lines on all but the first two. Let's see, okay, that ought to work. Nice, neat, straight fuel lines. Okay, now we have 4 asparagus pairs of tanks, which will be jettisoned as we go. Let's save that. check our crew assignments. Make sure nobody is aboard. Let's check the action groups. Number 1 is the solar panels. Number 2 is the ladders. Number 3 is nothing. 4 is nothing. 5 is the nav lights. And the regular lights are on the normal light command. Okay. Saving this, and let's head to the launch pad for an initial checkout. Alright, here we are. And this thing is showing quite a respectable amount of delta V. Now granted, about 4.5 km per second of this is going to be what gets it into orbit. I know that. Still, it's a pretty fair amount. Okay. We have nobody aboard, so we don't have any problems there. This initial test flight is just going to be to check out the staging. We're going to launch it. We're going to stage everything fairly quickly on, which will involve basically get it moving at a good pace, cut the engines and stage something, throttle up, move ahead, and then just rinse and repeat until we've gone through all the staging to check it all out. And so, let's throttle it up and do this thing. Get a good 100 meters a second upwards. Oops, I forgot to turn the SAS on. Alright, cut the throttle, stage 1 set, throttle back up. Alright, that stage worked. And now we'll do that again. Cut throttle, stage, throttle up. I know this is not optimum flight, but this is just, let's make sure the stages all work in the right order. Alright, we'll burn this one and get a good 200 meters a second and stage it away. And then we'll see how this orbital insertion stage works. Okay, 200 meters a second, cut the throttle, stage, throttle up. Now these I should be able to stage without cutting the throttle. Except for one little thing. Ah, there we go. Alright, let's stage that one. Now we're burning this pair. Stage that one. We're burning that one. Okay, let's stage it. We're burning the final set. Stage that. Alright, our staging looks good. Okay, now let's go ahead and cut the throttle. Stage that. Throttle back up. Descent engines are all working good. Okay, cut the throttle, stage those, fire up the ascent engine. Cut the throttle again and stage that. Fire this up. Everything looks good. Cut throttle, stage one last time, and that disconnects our capsule and deploys the parachute. Alright, everything is looking very good. Now, what do you say we send this thing somewhere on purpose? Let's see, let's time warp it down. I don't guess we need SAS now. All right. A very successful test flight. Our staging is confirmed to be working exactly as intended. All right. Now the next thing is to get one of these out on the launch pad with a crew member aboard and send it somewhere on purpose. And as soon as this thing lands, I'll meet you back at the launch pad after I stop into the vehicle assembly building and take the robot control off. Alright, here we are with Bill Kerman in the pilot seat. And we're going to launch this thing for real this time. And so, resources open, SAS on, throttle it up. Let's rock. Oh yes, orbital information. And I think we can throttle back just a little bit. We're not really needing all of that thrust right here. We just want the thing to burn positive. Looking good. Flying straight and smooth. I think part of the key for roll is to have SAS enabled before liftoff. Bill is looking all businesslike in the capsule, paying close attention to everything going on. He knows this ship just came out of testing. Okay, we're about to lose the first asparagus pair. And boosters away. Nice and clean. And we're beginning a bit of a gravity turn. Alright, let's try with fine controls to see if that cuts out some of the jerkiness. Not especially. Lights on just so we can see what's going on, because once again we're launching at night. Get tipped over the rest of the way here. A good 45 or 40 degrees. See if I can counter that blasted roll. Okay, we're going to lose the second asparagus boosters. And they're away. Nice and clean. Climbing steady. Apoapsis is already up to 61 kilometers and climbing. Just kind of following the prograde marker. Looking for a 100-kilometer orbit. Alright, ascent is looking good, looking smooth. Bill is crapping his pants. I think he's figured out where I'm going to try to send him. Well, Bill, hope you packed a lunch. Bill's afraid of travel. I mean, he picked a really bad profession. Okay, let's see. Alright, stage that out. We're a minute and 37 away from apoapsis. Let's cut the engines and plot a circularization maneuver. Quickly like. Okay, keep open. And ready. Alright, that's 29. Step that down and go 10 at a time now. Flip the sign, take some of that back. Okay, 99 by 103. I'll take it. Looks good. And as it just so happens, we're just about lined up already. Alright, solar panels deploy. And it's time to burn right now. Actually, it's kind of past time to burn, but this'll do. It makes it easier to do the job without raising the apoapsis any higher. One set away. By jettisoning those empty tanks, that increases our delta V by reducing the mass of the ship. That is so annoying. And jettison and cut. And I know our apoapsis is nearly double what we expected it to be. But that's alright. We'll deal with it. We'll get up there to apoapsis, bring the periapsis right up to 100, and then go around the periapsis and bring the apoapsis back down. Perhaps. Then again, it might be better to just go ahead and plan the next phase of our burn. Let's see. In orbit, we've got 7,800 meters per second at delta V. We could go just about anywhere, I think. And so, let's go to Duna. I think we can get a course to go to Duna from here. Let's see, we'll need to be burning somewhere around here, I believe. Alright. Pop that to 100, make it positive. see if we got any chance of coming up with a Duna encounter. So we're pretty close to being in plane. Let's step it down and start taking some of that off. Okay, let's see. Let's throw in a little bit of outward here. On the other hand, let's not. Not if it's going to cost that much. Yeah, I can see there's a problem there. Okay. We'll zero out the outward. We'll just strictly stick with prograde. And let's go ahead and burn it. Out there. No, not quite. Bring that down. Alright, I'm going to burn it about like this. And then once the ship gets up here to avoapsis, we'll do another burn, bring the periapsis up, and it'll be just like any other orbital rendezvous maneuver, only bigger. That works. 1 minute 30 seconds burn time. Estimated node in 4 minutes. Get in position. Sometime today. Quick jump on the time warp if necessary. Alright, we're going to be burning this one and its opposite number, and then the last one. And let's see, 1 minute 30 second burn, so start out in T minus 45 seconds. Whoops, I went flying right past it. I should have used that blasted alarm clock. I know better than to do this kind of thing. Alright. Keep an eye on that fuel tank so I can jettison the thing when it's empty. And Bill Kerman is on his way to a meeting with Duna. Go. Get rid of those empty tanks and our delta phi stays up because we're losing all that mass along with it. And our burn is progressing. Although cut, you'll notice that the SAS does not hold this thing on the maneuver node. It's drifting all over the frickin' place. You know, that bit about SAS will hold you on maneuver node, that's been something that's been important ever since the maneuver nodes were put in. And now, it just doesn't do it. Alright, let's burn the rest of this. Nick blasted blankety blank camera done its thing again. Alright, I burned over just a teensy bit, but let's see how that does for us. Oh, come on. Alright, now. About kind of what I expected. What have we got in system here? Any moon encounters? No. Alright. Alrighty. So, our Bill Kerman is on his way to Duna, while the robot ship is on its way to a meeting with Moho. How cool. Alright. I think the first mid-course correction for this ship will be over here at the ascending node. We can fine-tune the plane alignment and perhaps do something about close approach. Alright, let's see. Plane alignment 0.1, so it isn't going to be much. That's the wrong direction. Alright, that's good. And it only costs 19 meters per second to do it. And let's see what happens if we throw in some prograde. Well, our close approach isn't very close. 16,000, whatever. A long way. Yes, that's the ticket. A long way. 16,788, 741, 16,436. It's still coming down. 464. It started going back up. Alright, I'll leave it right there. It's going to cost 159.1 meters per second. And that will have Bill that much closer to being on his way to Duna. And let's see, we still have 6,800 meters per second in Delta V, so that's cool. Granted, there might have to be a ship come out here to do something about bringing Bill back home. I don't pretend to think this thing is going to be able to make a round trip, but hey, what the heck? It's a potential. Alright, let's go ahead and time warp out to this maneuver. After I make the sensible decision and add a maneuver node for it. 2 minutes warning, so I have time to get lined up. Alright, now, about that time warp. Alright. Time warp is dropping down. Close alarm. Let's get out here. The camera angle changes again. And then we see about getting lined up. Okay. 10-second burn in a minute and a half. Let's go ahead and burn this, and then I think we can call this an episode. And maybe I won't miss it this time, to overdo the burn here. I actually stopped the time warp in time. How about that? And we'll burn at T-5. We'll also be ditching this last asparagus engine, or stage, I think. Yeah. Okay. Alright, our plane alignment is 0, 0. We have a close approach of 16 million kilometers. Okay, so it needs work, but oh, you get off of there. Anyway, it needs work, but we're on the way. And next time out, we'll see about getting built on a closer approach. He still has 6,732 meters per second in delta V remaining. So there is all kinds of potential. And we'll find out what that potential will yield next time. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.